Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, or should I say bonus video, I guess. Like I mentioned previously, that the Sketchbook Doodle series will be kind of like sporadically uploaded and more or less like bonus videos, and I'll kind of upload them as I work in my sketchbook. So I did work on this little spread yesterday, since I'm posting this on Monday, and yeah, I just thought it'd be fun to show you guys another little spread of me painting some of my sketches. So this one was planned out that I wanted to paint it with gouache, and just a disclaimer or a heads up for anyone who is new to this series, Sketchbook Doodles is kind of just basically me working in my sketchbook, kind of very chill, kind of me like a rambling video, I guess. And if you're not really into rambling videos, you can just either mute this and watch it, or you can just exit. But yeah, pages refer to kind of like the episode number of the series and not the actual page of the sketchbook that I am working in. So that's just kind of like a little heads up. So today I'm going to be painting Jeonghan from 17. I am in a very like Jeonghan painting mood or drawing mood. I miss his long hair, and kind of like the recent V-Live he did, he was showing how long his hair was getting, and he kind of like mimicked how his hair looked like during like Manse and Adore You era, or even Aju Nice era, where he wore the extensions. But yeah, I just really love his long hair. It's fun to draw, so I decided to look up some previous photos of him from either Adore You or mostly Manse era is what I was looking at, because I really love his like blonde hair. So I decided to draw 3 of those from Manse and then 1 from Adore You, which is on the bottom right. And I wanted to paint them with gouache today, so I did 4 sketches. So I did 2 sketches that I knew I wanted to paint in. I drew them in the Color ENO Mechanical Pencils, and then I did the other 2 sketches using the Prismacolor Col-Erase, just because I knew I didn't want to be really smudging them around with my hand, but I also wanted them to stand out from the page on its own. And instead of using graphite, I decided to use that because like the color is kind of nice and it smudges a little bit less, so decided to do that. So to prep this for gouache painting, there's kind of like 2 steps that I do kind of prior. Why can't I speak today? I don't know why I can't speak. I feel like I'm nervous. So I have 2 steps that I do before I actually do the gouache painting itself. So the first thing is that after I've done the initial sketch with the Color ENO, I erase it with the kneaded eraser, and then I go over with a graphite pencil, just a normal mechanical pencil, to go over the sketch and kind of like refine any lines and kind of pick the lines that I want to use as kind of like my line art. And most of these lines will be covered, but I want to make sure that they don't dissolve with the initial wash that I do in watercolor. So step 2 is that I then use watercolor to kind of set up a base and kind of establish any lighting or any of the colors that I know I want to be using. And it kind of helps, or at least I think it kind of helps prime the page a little bit for the gouache. Gouache doesn't really like to stick on this paper all too much if you use a lot of water, and because I don't want to be using such thick amount of paint when laying down certain colors, especially for like the base and stuff, I kind of watered down the paint a little bit more, and it adheres better to the page when it has a little bit of a rough texture or like exposed fibers from the watercolor being spread onto the page. So I like to establish most of the color and like any shadows or anything major with the watercolor first. So that's what I'm doing right now. Jeonghan has kind of like this beautiful blonde hair, so that's what I did for these ones. And then the one on the left, which I like the most after I'm done painting it, but right now I like the one on the right the most when I first sketched it out and even did the cleaner sketch. I took a picture of the red sketch earlier because I liked it so much. So if you like what the one on the right looks like right now, savor it, because I'm gonna basically butcher him when I actually paint it with gouache. But now that the watercolor is dry, I am switching over to gouache and preparing to do more of the cleaner painting and more of kind of like rendering with this paint. So I'm using the HIMI or MIYA gouache, like the jelly gouache. And yeah, I've been really liking using this gouache in this sketchbook. And I like using this gouache a little bit more than like the Arteza one. Just because like reactivating it is a little bit easier, and it's just much easier for me to mix small amount of paint compared to reactivating the Arteza one. I'm pretty sure people use the Arteza one probably more like straight out of the tube, or you would kind of mix it with like glycerin, I believe is what you mix it with. I mixed mine with honey because I know that was recommended as well, but it only kind of helped with the cracking. Like it cracks a lot less and like there's less shrinkage when it dries, but reactivating it's like a real pain. So I think I'm just gonna stick with the MIYA HIMI gouache for now, and then in the future I'll just keep buying white gouache because I tend to get like, I use a lot of white gouache, so I probably have to go buy another tube of titanium white or something, or zinc white, once I remember the difference between them. I understood it back then, like when I did more of like oil painting, but now I don't really remember the difference because I don't really use white when I'm painting with watercolors. So yeah, but laying down the watercolor first before the gouache also helps me make sure that when I'm painting with a lot like more of lighter colors, I don't have a lot of white of the paper showing through, if that makes sense. And that helps me basically cover more white of the page so that I don't have to fuss about keeping my consistency of the gouache super like smooth and thin. Or I guess like I can keep it smooth and thin instead of like laying such a thick layer of paint. My brain's super scattered right now. Yeah, so update about life, I guess. It's snowing again. It was literally super sunny, like there was no snow on the grass or anything, or on the driveway, or on the roads, because the sun melted it all, and then now it just started snowing again, so yeah, that kind of sucks. It seems like it keeps snowing like every other day. It just takes like a day for everything to melt, and then the next night it kind of just snows, which kind of sucks. Yeah. I had a lot of fun working on the first one. I think the colors for the hair were actually fairly accurate. I got a good like kind of like blonde hair color for Jeonghan right off the bat, which was kind of nice. I struggle a little bit more with the second one. I make his hair a little bit too like golden and orangey, I believe, as well as his skin. There's a lot of things going on with the second one that I really didn't like, so I really wish I kind of left him with the watercolor like that. I think he looks really cute like that. I don't know. The clean minimalistic look I think fit that one a lot better, so me painting over it kind of makes me sad, but I guess that's kind of like the beauty of recording your drawings, because I kind of have some kind of way to keep this Jeonghan in my memory now, besides the fact that I took a picture of the sketch, because I had a feeling that I was gonna butcher it somehow, just because I was like really attached to the sketch when I first drew it with like the Pilot Color ENO. But the pencil sketch turned out pretty cute too. I feel like it's because like the left part of his eye I knew turned out a little bit smaller than the right side of his eye, so I don't know why I didn't correct it while painting, but yeah, I just kind of butchered him in the end. Yeah, but for the most part, like I played around a lot more with this one in terms of being able to keep on layering up the colors. So you can see like the purple around his neck that is on the collar of his shirt on the left side is kind of like not super opaque. So I knew that like I wanted to keep layering up the purples or changing it from like more of a brownish muted color or like cooler blue color to shift within the collar, if it makes sense. How do people even listen to my voiceovers? I swear. But yeah, so initially I actually had a different video planned for the Sketchbook Doodle series, but I think I'm gonna scrap it. I'm gonna hang on to the footage and see if I will ever release it, but if not, then I'll keep it to myself. But it was kind of like a marker and gouache doodling session together. So I think I did 3 to 4 different doodles with marker, and then I left one blank and I decided to paint it. But the end result, I kind of overpainted him, and he became like, he looked very weird. And I feel like this is the bad part about fan art for me, is that if I do fan art of pre-existing like anime styled characters, I focus so much on likeness that like anything that looks wrong looks bad to me. Even if it's like in my own style, I just don't like it. While drawing fan art of like 17 or like of my OCs and stuff, I guess like my OCs is not fan art, but drawing like fan art of real people, I'm not too picky about, just because like I know I'm just drawing them for fun and there's not really a stylized way that they look per se. There's just ways that I prefer to draw them. Like, you guys know how I stylize Wonu a lot, and D8, and I guess now Jeonghan. I find Jeonghan really hard to draw, actually, but I really do love his hair. His hair in general is like my favorite to draw, and then second would be Minghao. Minghao has like a lot of cool styles as well, but like Jeonghan has such like versatile hair in terms of like from now since debut or even like pre-debut. He had like such a vast amount of different hair. Like, I remember back in Adore You era or like pre-debut to like all the way up until pretty much Pretty You, I think. Everyone was just thinking like, when is Jeonghan gonna get short hair? Like, the day that Jeonghan gets short hair is like gonna be the end for us. And then now he's been having short hair pretty much after Boom Boom era, I believe. Like, Boom Boom was like semi, he had like kind of like an undercut almost, or like one side like really short and his other side is like really long. And then after that, he pretty much had short hair starting from like A1 or like Don't Wanna Cry up until like now, where he's kind of growing it out now. But yeah, so now I feel like people are like kind of deprived of his long hair, which is kind of funny, because like for the longest time, like a lot of us were waiting for him to have short hair again, because like we knew what he looked like pre-debut and like he looked really cute. But yeah, now a lot of us are missing his long hair, because he, honestly, like, he has the face that suits both really well, because he's kind of like pretty and handsome, like he's manly and cute. But I feel like for Minghao, it's kind of like the same thing. Like, for a long time, it seemed like the stylist was like experimenting with the different styles for Minghao, and then after, I don't know, like, I don't really remember which era it was. Was it during Fanks or I don't really remember which era, but like he peaked and then he started to grow his mullet, which absolutely looks great on him. He has like, I think he mentioned this himself, that he has like a longer neck, so him having like longer hair at the back actually looks great for his neck, because it makes his neck not appear long. But like, he just suits a mullet so well. Like, any way he styled the mullet looked good, pretty much. And I talked about this like way back, like when I was painting him. Like, I gushed about this a lot, but his black hair that's like the mullet with the blue outfit, absolutely love that look so much. So like recently, I think he's blonde now, or yeah, like blonde or kind of like a light yellowy orange at the moment. But during the Carrotland, or is it the Incomplete concert? I think it's the Incomplete concert actually, when he cut the back of his hair only, he looked really good too. So I don't know, I think he suits both hairstyles as well. It's like him and Jeonghan are very versatile hair. But pretty much a lot of the looks on 17 I really like, though. There are some that I didn't like as much, but for the most part, like they suit a lot of different hairstyles, and for the most part now, like their stylists done a pretty good job. But yeah, I kind of talked over like the entire process of this Jeonghan painting, I guess. But so the part that I struggled with right off the bat was when I first placed on his first skin layer, I guess, on the right side of that Jeonghan I layered it down a little bit too dark and a little bit too like orangey, rather leaning like I should have either pushed it towards more pink or pushed it more towards yellow, but because I went orange, he was looking very like, you know, like fake spray tan kind of look. He kind of still has a little bit of that, especially on like the left side of his face, but I feel like I balanced it out a little bit better at least. And after putting in the line work and doing a bit of his hair, it kind of fixes it a little bit. I don't know if it's because I'm putting the mic so close to my face that I feel like I can't breathe, and this is why I keep making like these weird stops. Like I do apologize to the people who actually like listening to these kind of voiceovers. Like I feel like they're a mess. But yeah, so because I was struggling with this one, I decided to do the line art almost like right away after I did the eyes, just to see if I could fix it. And because I was kind of like rushing and talking to my brother at the same time, because like he was hanging out in my room because we were finishing up Genshin, the Peculiar Wonderland stuff. Yeah, I forgot to do the line art for his nose, so that I'm sorry if that bothers you, but I do the line art for pretty much everything else. It's just literally the part of the nose that I didn't do. But hopefully this process wasn't too painful to watch, or listening to me wasn't too painful. I kind of want to do a few more gouache sessions, but I do want to do one with pencil crayon hopefully soon. I want to find another combination or reuse a combination of colors that I like using for doodling. Maybe doodle OC stuff or Genshin stuff or 17 stuff. I've been liking drawing 17 again in my sketchbook. I just find it fun and it just feels comfortable, I guess. It just feels comfy drawing them. I feel like me drawing Genshin caused a weird amount of stress in my sketchbook. And I don't know, I think it's because the likeness thing I mentioned, like I feel like if it doesn't look like them, then I have a harder time. And because Genshin's already in a very anime style, yeah. I feel like I just need to get over it, honestly. Like sometimes I have fun drawing them and sometimes I don't. I just need to get over it. I probably just had like a bad session of doodling. But yeah, I wanted to do a pencil crayon drawing session at least, probably with a little bit of graphite, and we can do that, and hopefully record a new marker doodling session, just because the other one that I had planned, I used too many colors and I couldn't find a pen that worked really nicely. I'll talk about my pen struggles in another sketchbook doodles video, but I'm trying to find a pen that works well in the sketchbook with the medium I like, that can also dry fast and won't feather, because so far out of the 5 pens that I tried, it's either they feather or they don't dry fast, so they smudge like immediately and they never dry, like ever. They never ever dry. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this video. Hopefully this wasn't too rambly, and I'll see you guys next time with another hopefully sketchbook doodling session, sometime sporadically uploaded sometime, who knows when. But yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.